Alright, so this is going to be a full review of the Zaopin Z1 Pro. I've made this video literally 20 times, so I'm sorry if I seem a little bit frustrated. That's all it is. But yeah, let's basically get started with this video. So Mekis did send this out to me. Does not impact my review at all. They just wanted me to try it. I've been wanting to try this mouse for a very long time. It is not a new product by any means. I'm very late to this, but I figured why not? I'll just review it. So this is the Zaopin Z1 Pro, and yeah, so this is a $45 mouse to be exact, and you can find this on numerous websites. Sorry, I'm raising my mic a little bit more, and yeah, but before I start this video, like and sub, comment, do all that stuff. I have like lethal gaming gear codes and stuff like that. But yeah, so let's get into this review. $45 mouse. Depending on which model you get, either 200 milliamp hour battery or 500 milliamp hour battery, it's going to be 46 grams or 51 grams. That's the specs. It's going to be using blue shell pink dot switches and as well as a TTC gold encoder. Sorry about that. This does come in 1K and 4K hertz. This is the 500 milliamp hour 1K hertz version. Did not really matter which version I get, because the 4K, this is such an old mouse that the 4K hertz has been extensively tested, so there's really no problem with that. It performs just like a VGN mouse or anything. Any Chinese 3395 mouse is really what this performs like, so there's gonna be no problems. The other thing that is kind of impressive about this mouse is how many colorways they have of this, and I'll talk about that more when I get to the coding, and I believe that's a big reason for it. But yeah, so mine comes in about 50 grams, and in the box you don't really get much. I'm not really gonna go through opening it and doing all that because there's no point. You get this little carrying bag over here, which is actually very nice. It's like a suede material, and it looks like a dust color. I don't know, that's like the best way I can explain it. And there has like this little logo here. If you want to use this for something else, nobody is going to know what the hell this logo is, so it's really not going to be a problem. And you get your extender and receiver and this black cable that feels almost identical like to a old Final Mouse cable or an old Razer wired cable is kind of what it feels like. And yeah, so let's talk about the main clicks on this mouse now. The blue shell pink dots in this are pretty snappy, but there is quite a bit of pre-travel and quite a bit of post-travel here, and there is some rocking just because of how big these finger grooves are. When you push on this side, it kind of shifts over here, and when you push on this, it shifts over here. So that's something, not a big issue, but the clicks are a little bit mushy. The lower down you get, the higher up here, very, very snappy. Down here, pretty mushy. Still great, fine clicks, average clicks. Not a problem at all. They feel fine. Like there's no problem. They're not bad. They're just fine. And the scroll wheel is actually very, very good. It actually looks almost identical to the Razer one now that I'm looking at it. And does not feel the same though. So this is very, very, very smooth. If you like the feeling of like a lubricated scroll wheel, that's exactly what this feels like. TTC Gold, and the scroll click is not going to be spammable unless you're sitting here with your finger like this. If you're in game, I don't think you're going to be spamming this very much. Maybe you can, but it's a little bit heavy, and the rebound on it is not really great. And the side buttons are pretty mushy, but they do the job. They're not awful. And they kind of remind me of like a G203 side button is kind of what they remind me of if you ever use those, especially the sizing and the positioning of them. This is a pure fingertip mouse with dimensions of 110 millimeters long, 62 millimeters wide, and 38 millimeters at its tallest point. It's literally shaped like an egg. If you've used the Fantech Aria, you've used this mouse before. They're almost identical. And yeah, pure fingertip mouse. There is a little ledge. I don't really know how well you're going to be able to see this actually because it's white. But like right here, it sticks out on the bottom a little bit so that your thumb can sit on it. And that actually does help a lot with the fingertip on this mouse. And the fingertip on this mouse does feel great. You're not going to be clawing this at all just because of how this tapers out back here. It's like a tail, and where your fingers sit, where the curvature, how the curvature is on this side. This side does also curve out. It basically forces you into a fingertip grip. And very clearly, you're not going to be palming this either. So yeah, there's also not going to be any kind of flexing, anything like that, which is great. On the bottom, you get 2 big feet, which you also get an extra pair in the box. You get a DPI button and an on and off, as well as a 3395 sensor, which performs great, and as well as a middle sensor orientation, so sensor placement, so in a transparent bottom just to reduce weight. The coating on this mouse is pure matte. There's like no coating on this mouse at all. It's pure matte, and that's why I think that they can do so many colors in this, because there's no special coating for this. It literally just feels like plastic. That's all this feels like. So I believe that is why. But yeah, it feels fine as long as your hands don't. You're not like an overly aggressive sweater, like extreme sweater. You should be fine. And the feet on this are very slow, and you're not going to feel a lot of texture on them, but they're fine. You don't really need to replace them if you don't need to. That's really how most of the feet nowadays. It's not really a talking point just because they're all good. They're all fine. But yeah, so I'm not really going to make this video super long just because it does not need to be. If you want a nice budget fingertip and you're coming from something like the G203, G305, this is the mouse you should be looking at. This is a shape that not a lot of people are probably going to like. So if you're coming from a mouse that is normal, that looks like this, you are probably not going to like something that looks like this, but it's cheap, and you might as well give it a try because there's always sales on it in tons of different colorways, and your mouse, unless you have like a Razer mouse right now, it's going to perform better or the exact same as your mouse. So that's going to be the end of this video. Peace.